I love fighting games, but for some people, they can be really hard to learn. In-game tutorials struggle to teach beginner concepts. There are tons of resources online, but it can be hard to figure out where to start. When I was just starting to learn fighting games, a lot of beginners videos I found weren't really beginner friendly. They often required at least a little bit of prerequisite knowledge on fighting games. This is where I come in. My name is Sakayan Sensei, and in this series, Fighting Game Foundations for Strive, I will be teaching you how to play this game from the ground up. After finishing this series, you'll have a great starting point from which you'll feel comfortable playing the game and learning from anyone else's content. This series is aimed at absolute beginners. If you know nothing about fighting games, this series is perfect for you. Every fighting game term I use will be defined beforehand. Every video will be short, simple, and focus on a single topic. I'll even provide practice mode drills to help learn and reinforce your new skills. If you do already have some experience with fighting games, stick around. While you might find some info I cover redundant, I'm sure you'll come out of it having learned at least something. While this series will be both using and focusing on Guilty Gear Strive, the focus on fundamentals that this series provides will let you bring your new skills to any fighting game you decide to play. Before you start with the rest of the series, I do recommend playing the tutorial at the very least. It's short, I promise. I understand they can be boring for some people, but even though I'll be explaining beginner concepts, I don't want to have to tell you how to jump. If you don't mind tutorials that much, I also recommend playing through as much of the mission mode as you can. It will introduce you to a lot of important concepts that will be expanded on by my videos. Throughout my videos, I will also be using other knowledge bases as reference. The Fighting Game Glossary is an absolutely amazing resource put up by Infilament. Any term I define in a video will have a link to its entry in the glossary. If I ever forget to define a term, you can probably find it there. The other important knowledge base is the Dustloop wiki. This wiki holds tons of information for any game made by Arc System Works. If you want any information about the systems, characters, or moves in Strive, check here. We'll also be using it more once we start touching on stuff like combos, hitboxes, and frame data. Before we finish, a quick note. You can use any character you'd like while following this series. You do not have to follow along with the exact character on screen unless I tell you to. And with that, we're all done here. The next video will feature universal notation. It's an odd video to start with, but it's important to define some common language before we have a conversation about fighting games. See you there.